Hello, this is Bobby Connor from Eagles View Ministry. Thank you for watching Bobby's briefings today. Now, today I want to talk to you about how to overcome depression, anxieties, and just sometimes when things don't pan out like you thought they were going to pan out, sometimes we just throw our hands up and give up. That's not the plan of God. I want to show you something that happens in the Bible. I'm in 1 Samuel now, 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 1. It says, now when David and his men come back from a battle, they're coming back to their hometown of Ziklag, and that's where their wives are, that's where their families are, that's where everything they've loved and labored for is there in Ziklag. Now, I'm sure they was expecting a warm welcome, a wonderful welcome. Maybe they was expecting the wife to come out and greet them with something cool to drink, or maybe the children come running out and grab them by the legs and say, oh, daddy's home. Listen, but that's not what they found. Oh, listen, these are mighty warriors. These are David and his mighty men of battle, and they've coming back home. And I'm telling you, there's something medicinal. There's something therapeutic about coming back home. I travel all over the place, and I've flown all night long to spend one night in my home. There's something about coming home. And here's what happened. David and his mighty men come around the bend to Ziklag. Ziklag's not even there any longer. It says that the Amalekites have raided them and they've burned Ziklag to ashes. They're just rubble there, smoking rubble. No family, all their fortunes gone. The Amalekites have carried them away. Oh man, let me read that for you. It says, now when David and his men came home to Ziklag on the third day, they found that the Amalekites had raided the south and they had burned Ziklag with fire. Verse 2 said, and they had taken the women and all of them and their children, the women and all of their fortunes and families, and taken them away. Oh, David is just absolutely distraught. Look what it says in verse 5. David, and he was pining over his children. Then David says in verse 6, he said, I'm going to encourage myself in the Lord, my God. And I'll tell you what, he does that. Now, I'm thankful that it doesn't say what he did, the 5 steps to recovery. Doesn't say that at all. It says, but David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. And that's the same source you and I have when disappointment comes. When what we plan for and love for and long for doesn't pan out. Instead of throwing our hands up, going to a bar, getting drunk, shooting a line of dope. No, you don't have to do all that. That's not our coping mechanism. Our mechanism is casting all of our care upon the Lord because he cares for us. And when you're disappointed and you're just, David said he encouraged himself in the Lord his God. Now here's what I suspect he did. I suspect he did what he said. He offered the sacrifice of praise. Sometimes when you feel like praising the least is when you need to do it the most. And I'm sure that that's what he did. And it said that his men were so distraught. It said they had been weeping. David and his men wept till there was no more power to weep. And it's going to get worse for David. It says his men picked up stones to stone him because of the anguish of their heart. They were so disillusioned and so disappointed. And David had done nothing but been loyal and guided them in victories and battles. But now all of that seems to fade away. All they want to do is they're mad at God. They can't get to God, but they can get to God's man, and they're going to stone him. But David encourages himself in the Lord his God, and then he inquired of the Lord. Now these are the pathways back to get out of the pit of despair and the pit of depression and disappointment and disillusionment. David encouraged himself in the Lord. I believe he offered the sacrifice of praise, and I believe that he did this. I believe that he really began to say, Lord, I want you to show me your plans and your purposes out of this. And he inquired of the Lord, and he asked the Lord this straight question, shall I pursue the enemy? And the Lord answers him and says, yes, you shall pursue the enemy. You shall overtake them, and you shall recover it all. Now, God's plans and purposes for us are for victory, not defeat. And David did pursue the enemy. He overtook them. He recovered everything they'd taken from Ziklag, everything they'd taken from the villages and towns around there, and restored it all. You shall recover it all. And God is a God of recovery. I'm talking to people now. Some have lost they've lost their hope. But listen, God is a God of restoration, and He can restore. He says in Joel 2:25, I shall restore, declares the Lord. And I'll tell you what, the Bible said when you catch a thief, you can command him to pay back sevenfold. And so David recovered it all. So what to do when you're disappointed, what to do when you're just heartbroken? Seek the Lord. Cast your care upon the Lord. Don't try to figure it out yourself. Don't try to use human intellectuality to settle it. This is a spiritual battle we're in. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And whatever you're facing, you're not facing it alone. God is with you. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. God is with you in the midst of all of the battles, and He has already declared you're victorious. That's what He says in the book of Romans. You're more than a conqueror. So God bless you, and God bless your family. Let's get up out of that pit of despair, and let's focus on the Lord, and realize this, that God will keep us in perfect peace when our mind is stayed upon the Lord. God bless you, and God bless your family, and let's cast all of our care upon the Lord, because He cares for us. Bless you.